Hello, my name is David J.P. Phillips. I'm a public speaker and a coach, and I'm here today to give you that insight, the knowledge, the verdict. Which of the two presidential candidates did the best during the last presidential debate? Which one won? Was it Joe Biden or was it Donald Trump? And you go, one? What do you mean, one, David? As some of you know, I spent 7 years studying 5,000 public speakers in order to define every single skill we use when we communicate. I came to the number 110 skills and 150 sub-skills. And then I built a tool which is called the 110 steps analysis, where I can give a verdict of which of these candidates or whoever uses the most amount of skills. I will be applying that. And oh yes, just before we go, I want to say this. This analysis is entirely objective. I do not care about their political values. I do not care about their political agenda. I do not put value into that. The only thing I am analyzing are their skills of delivering what they're saying. Are you ready? This is gonna be exciting! Woo! Here we go!
You're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
He's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing.
The guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me.
8 years he was vice president. He did nothing.
There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None. Zero.
I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. He goes for a year. There will be
we do have a number of invited to respond.
I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape. You don't know the law, Joe.
And you say, I take no responsibility. Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does.
You know what? I honestly feel sad. Yeah, I live in Sweden, but I'm watching two people debate. One of them will become the most influential human being in the world. And the level of communication skills is just subpar. I did promise you at least an insight into what they do and what they don't do. Let me just pick out a clip for each of them and make you understand why it's not good. Let's have a look at Trump first.
As you know, 2.2 million...
Clapping elbows, moving hip bones. Both a clear tell of something that he's nervous about.
People modeled out were expected to die. We closed up.
One shoulder shrug instead of two. Science shows that one is associated with not being entirely synchronized with your thoughts and your nonverbal communication.
The greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China.
Why has he got eye contact with her? 50 million people looking at him and he looks at her. When she asks a question, the answer should be to me. His eye contact should be here.
It's a worldwide...
Did it for a short while.
All over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now.
A filler sound. I checked this sequence. It's got 8 filler sounds in the first 2 minutes. A filler sound is associated with being uncertain, losing train of thought, or just being untruthful. He also began his entire session with a filler word, which is so.
You notice the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate
another filler sound,
down, much lower than almost any other country, and we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard.
Good repetition. Donald Trump has got good rhetorics. Anaphoras, anadiplosis, epiphoras, repetition. His language is very, very good.
There was a spike in Florida.
See that slight increase of eyebrow raise?
And it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas. It's now gone. There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone.
That's an anaphora epiphora. He begins the sentence in the same way that he begins the next sentence, and he ends the sentence in the same way that he ends the next sentence. Beautiful way of speaking. But his facial expressions aren't matching it. His body language isn't matching it. He's just saying it. You can't even hear the prosody or the tonation of the voice changed based on what he's saying.
It's going to be announced within weeks.
Good shake of head increases the clarity of what you're saying.
I can tell you from personal experience.
Look, self-laughter, raise of eyebrows, quick glance, and move of body language. That was the first piece of synchronicity I've seen in him. And I've watched the entire thing. And there are not many opportunities or situations where that happens. What I'm lacking is more emotion, more synchronicity. His voice should say the same thing as his words. His body language should be associated with that as well. The 5 layers of synchronicity are words, voice, body language, gestures, and facial expressions. They should all add up, and they're not. It's jiving around. Let's have a look at Joe Biden and see how he does.
I take no responsibility initially. Anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America. We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths.
Wherever you look in the sequence of when he speaks, both of his eyes are squinting. Could be because there's bright lights around him. But if you're a public speaker, if you're a public person and there's lights around you, you should know that you should not allow them to squint your eyes, because that will then be associated to a particular emotion that you have about what you're talking about. In this case, it could be anger or confusion. He has that particular use of eyes during 90% of the entire talk, and they are not associated to what he particularly says that is worrisome or anxiousness.
Day now, 1,000 deaths a day.
Good pace.
They're starting from a very low rate.
Nice elongated vowel.
We're starting from a very high rate.
Very high rate, nice functional gesture.
100,000 Americans dead.
Good emphasis.
If we just wore these masks,
Good use of props.
advisors have told them, we could save
Facial expressions are off.
100,000 lives.
Emphasis and prosody is okay. But hey, if you were to say to the one that you love, you would say them in that prosody, and I love you. No, that wouldn't work. I love you. Should be more emotion into it, better synchronicity in this case as well. Functional gestures are okay. Even this one where he raised his hand and he said something it's higher, that should have been distinct. It's higher than what we have here, or it's lower than what we have here. Distinct gestures are associated with high ethos, high credibility, and high confidence. That's it. The communication levels of these two gentlemen is subpar. Just doesn't make sense. One of them will become the world leader. I would say that, as I said in the last video when I analyzed them, if you're a high-level CEO or if you're an influential person as a leader, you need to be able to score skills of 75, 80, maybe 85 even in situations like debates. I did promise you the verdict of how high did they score. So I'm going to toss off about 3 or 4 hours to analyze every single skill, every single movement of an eye, of an eyebrow, of an arm, of a particular word, of a not a word, of a filler sound, and I'll score every single one, and I'll be back. I'll give you the verdict. Cool? I'll see you there.
1 hour later.
Okay, let's have a look. Donald Trump, in the last presidential debate, boom! He scores 50 out of 110. 50 out of 110. That is quite a bit lower than his election speech. It's time for Joe Biden. Let's have a look. It's getting exciting. Anticipation is high. Boom! And he scores 51.5! That is a close race. Practically the same. I'm not going to do this anymore. This was my last presidential debate. Not a lot to learn from this. You know what? I believe that both of them could perform extremely well if just given the right coaching, giving the right training before they go up. Like just one little single thing. Why do they keep looking at her when there are millions looking at them through the camera? When eye contact even showed from a recent study in Finland that it actually increases credibility and emotional connection with the person that you're talking to. How on earth can you then not tell the presidential candidate to not look into the camera? Because 70% of the time they're looking at her. I am blown away. I won't see you in another presidential debate analysis. I'll see you in a different video. Bye! Hello, my name is David J.